Welcome back to the Spark Session. We have a very exciting guest for you today, Blake Bailey. I'm so excited for you to learn his story and hear more about him. So Blake, welcome to the Spark Session.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It's brave and low risky to interview an accountant. It's not the most exciting, but
you have to be careful being a fun accountant, but
true.
You are a fun accountant.
We'll see.
Tell everybody, I'm so excited. You have the most interesting story. How did, maybe take me back to college. What were your career aspirations when you were a wee little one?
Well, when I started college, I didn't really want to be in college. I wanted to play in a band. That's what I had done since I was like 15 years old.
You were in a band?
Yeah, much to my parents' chagrin, who were, children of the 50s and valued stability and, doing all the right things to raise a family, et cetera.
Right.
And my dad was an engineer. And so he wanted me to be an engineer. And so I was playing in bands. So I'd quit going to school because my band was we were making like enough money to like pay our rent. And I thought basically I'd won the lottery at that
right.
point.
I feel like that's making it in the music business, right?
Yeah. So we'd play like acoustic shows at like older kind of seafood restaurants and stuff. So and then our band would play on the weekends, and we were starting to do college and club circuits and stuff like that. And so I did that, and we put out some records. We were getting on college radio, and we're in rotation on the local station, and then we got to open up for the Counting Crows, and that was really the peak.
Wait,
of my
what?
career.
Your band opened for the Counting Crows?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
That was the pinnacle of our career, and then that's kind of where it all went down from there. But
is that where you met your wife?
Well, kind of, because she saw us open up, and then a club in her neighborhood called Kogan's Instant Art. We were going to play there, so she saw. She's like, "Oh, that's that band. They're opening. They're the opener for the Counting Crows," and so she thought we were a lot bigger and better than we really were.
She thought you were. So
she was impressed.
Okay, so tell us what you're doing today and how you got from opening for the Counting Crows to being the CFO of Zaxby, and now what you're doing.
Yeah, so I met my wife, and like we wanted to get married, and so like I had to go back to school. I had to have like a career. My dad was always pushing, you have to have a fallback position, because he cared about me and didn't want me to just be in a band and just collapse,
Yeah.
So anyway, I started working on an accounting degree. So I went back and I finished that and started like my graduate program in tax and passed the CPA exam, and worked at Smithfield Foods, the huge pork conglomerate, working on their tax return.
That's right.
Yes.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
And so you saw an opening in Athens.
Yes.
For Zaxby's.
Exactly.
Online?
Yeah. My sister-in-law, Emily, saw this ad for Zaxby's needing an in-house CPA. And she knew I always loved Athens because of the whole music scene.
Right.
Like I'd come here when I was 15, just in the car with my friends, just to check out the music scene in like 1985, 86. And so always loved this town. And so I saw that ad and I was like, yeah, and I love Zaxby's too. I tried it like in Commerce over Christmas holidays and so forth. And I'm like, yeah, let's just see what happens. And I met Tony, and the rest is history. We had 70 stores at the time.
Okay. And
just helped Tony and Zach build an amazing brand. It's been an incredible ride.
That is crazy. What do you feel like you came into Zaxby's with 70 locations, and do you feel like it was a well-oiled machine, or did you have to reinvent some things?
I don't know that I reinvented it. The things, it wasn't a lot of invention. It was kind of what I had seen, just best practices at a full-blown international corporation, one of the largest food corporations in the world. There were pretty obvious things that needed to be built. I saw how things worked, and putting in kind of infrastructure and organization that helped us along the way, building the financial infrastructure, organizing entities in a way with, our attorneys in a way that helped, consolidate and finance the organization for capital and growth. We did some interesting things there. But ultimately, it's the brand, the culture that Zach and Tony had. I'm not just being nice. I mean, that's what
Right.
really, and the franchisees, they're kind of just entrepreneurial, like we're going to make it happen, hell or high
Right.
water. That's what really got it up the hill.
When with 70 stores, were many of those franchisees or were they all corporate? What how had they grown to that point?
Yeah, when I got there, they had like about 15 company stores and all these different entities, these S corps
Hmm.
and stuff, and so it was all a little bit disorganized. We consolidated that, and then they got some growth capital together, and then we started building company stores, which really encouraged franchisees because they kind of watched Tony and Zach. They trusted them so much.
That's
It's
good.
like when they start building, it was like, oh, we better start building too, or we're gonna like lose
Miss
ground.
out.
Yeah, because their stores were just doing so well. There was such a demand for that. It was the first kind of chicken finger concept where the chicken finger was the center of the plate. Outside there was Guthrie's, but the one that was like actually in a standalone QSR box,
Hmm.
you know, and fast casual box. So it just looked different. They
Can you
really
tell us the ingredients of Zach's sauce?
I,
I didn't even think
I
about
could
that
tell
ahead
you. I
of
know it
time.
has. It's. I mean, I think everybody. It's like on the internet, but it's like tomato paste or ketchup and mayonnaise
No
are
way.
the base, and then but Zach's sauce has anchovies in it,
No
like some little
way.
hint of
I
anchovy,
had no idea.
and then I don't know, but
That gives it that
somebody a
flavor.
chef could back into it, and there's a bunch of people that are doing that, but
That's amazing.
yeah.
So you helped consolidate the financial structure at Zaxby's and got them to how many stores when you exited?
I left in like April of 23.
Okay.
They asked me to leave, but
Well, with
I was
it
not a
was
good fit.
acquired, right, by Goldman
Yeah, and
Sachs.
I stayed for a couple years. I think they got whatever utility they needed out of me, and they were ready. I had probably a very different point of view on the franchisee relationship, and
Mm,
anyway, they it was time for me to go, and I was ready to go,
yeah,
and because it was just they're on a different mission, and I don't disparage that at all.
right.
They're like they have a
Life cycle.
yeah, they have stewardship responsibilities to their investors first and foremost, and they kind of need to flip the house and add the value in the right places
Hmm.
to create value and get a return. So anyway, that's but we had probably I think 910 stores.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's like
That's quite the infrastructure. And I imagine, I mean, I'm on the agency side. I'm imagining that was a pretty large ad fund that you were working with.
yeah, it's massive. It was mostly for my tenure. It was mostly in television, and we had the traditional ad co-ops. So we had like 35 ad co-ops across like 17 or 18 states, and then probably 80, 90 million dollars between
Wow. In the ad spend.
between the national, which we charged like 1 to 1.5, and then about 2.5, 3% for
Hmm.
all the local co-ops, which just bought, spot TV mostly.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I do feel like, and you and I talked about this earlier, the CFO and the ad agency kind of sit on two sides of the same coin. But, but can sometimes like a magnet repel. So how did you find what was your working relationship with your advertising agencies and how did you manage that spend well?
Yeah, and it's across the spectrum. If I'm being honest, there's times when I was like doing a really good job and being a great leader in that area, and other times where I was just kind of, things aren't working well, and you just deal with it. You're frustrated, but overall, we had incredible agencies.
Yeah.
They were also a dominant force in why we were successful. Some of the stuff that St. John's did,
Mm.
being they're not like an Ogilvy or an Omni, they're but they created those very simple ads, and I think they were copied by a lot of major brands as well. But just starting out with just a regular person talking about the food on a
Mm.
white background,
Hmm.
and it was so focused. But they, I think there was managing that. successful approach, but also kind of having to deal with the stewardship component of it, because
Right.
Zach being our founder, he's so relationship driven, outcome driven. And then you have all these other forces like, where's our money going? How is it being spent? What are our agency fees, and why are they outside of the industry norms? And then trying to talk to
Oh, good question.
I know, but like having this great relationship and success with an agency, and then also like having to do that very non-fun stuff creates this enormous tension, because there's pressure. Like my key role is the financial stewardship,
Right.
managing all the budgets of all the different co-ops. Each year a franchisee the franchisee president of the co-op would basically sign off and rubber stamp, here's where all the money's going to go. And then we have to make sure, one, we have enough money coming in, we're spending exactly what we're supposed to spend on the things we promised to spend on.
Right.
And so we did all that management of all that stuff in-house. So we had complete visibility into it. And then, when you sit down,
stewarded that spend.
Then when you sit down and talk to a very successful agency, very generating great outcomes for your brand, and like, okay, what about all the other, it was, and I loved these people. I thought they were awesome. I always thought the agency people,
be friends with the people we're working with.
Yeah, and agency people, they're always like the cool kids in business. I always say, and
I like that. I can attest.
There are all these people. They like, a lot of them are like, they play in bands on the side, or they have art projects. They're art adjacent, like some of them, or they have
art and business meet.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like Andy Warhol was worked for an ad agency, so these are, they're always those kind of creative people that are just having practical jobs, but incredibly fun. So I always found myself in a kinship with them. I just thought they were cool and always the fun.
Yeah, you are former band member. What did you play in your band?
Guitar.
And
it was the 90s.
Guitarist.
So I yelled a lot.
Guitar?
Not really. I mean, it's hard to get motivated to play, and like, what's the point? But
the art of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I do every once in a while. But
so working with these art adjacent business people, that was a rewarding relationship for you. But you were on the side of, are you stewarding these? And, I say all the time, it's just true. Like, revenue solves all problems when,
totally.
rising tides.
Yeah. We say high water covers all stumps.
Yeah. And so if things are rocky or not going well, but the stores are doing good, then everybody's happy. But if there's a downturn, did Zaxby's ever go through a downturn, like maybe economically, or the stores not hitting their numbers?
They did, but it was like, when it happened, they were like modest compared. Like the industry would be like -5, and we'd be like at -2, and everybody was like, "It's the apocalypse. It's all it's horrible. Everything's wrong." And it's important to put all those things into context. But yes, there was but we survived during the Great Recession. Restaurant industry, everything tanked, and we were flat. And the rest of the industry was down, some 8, 9 double digits. And so we would perform really well because we were insulated. We would get trade down from, fine dining and casual dining. But yeah, there were downturns, and yeah, it's hard to keep, the optimism and the energy and the growth behind the brand when that was happening. We also, the hardest thing was moving into new territories.
Oh yeah.
We're
opening new stores.
Yeah, because you open up in Georgia, South Carolina, Alabama, North Florida.
People knew exactly who you were.
Yeah, you printed money, and it was you had to find ways to fail, and then you go to
it's a great franchise to buy.
Yeah, and then it's much different when you went to Oklahoma. And people don't know you. They thought it was, some people were like, is that a jewelry store? They didn't know what it was.
Funny, like Zales. Yes. I don't know. That Z got you.
Yeah. And then we also had, frankly, a lot of hubris, because that creates a path dependence. When you open a store in Tuscaloosa or Lower Alabama and it just does $3 million.
Wow.
And you don't and it just happens.
Well,
You
that
feel,
you've got a great footprint, a
yeah,
great model and blueprint for people to opt into.
that's
And
right.
who doesn't love chicken fingers? I mean,
That's
the
right.
economy's got to be bad if people aren't buying chicken fingers.
Correct.
So
It's highly craveable, and yeah,
highly craveable.
yeah.
You know, we started SeeSparkGo in 2007. So we kind of built a business in the Great Recession. And we grew 40% year over year for like the first 10
Wow,
years. It was
that's
awesome.
amazing.
Great investment. But COVID hit in 2020. It was the first year we grew 5% in 2020. And we were like, what is wrong?
What's
What are
wrong with
we
us?
doing? What's not happening? So I understand that. I mean, just if it's not what you expect or what you're used to, then it feels like you need to make a
Totally.
change. Or, I mean, we use a lot of football analogies around here. If you're not scoring points or moving the ball down the field, you got to change your quarterback. Were there ever times where you felt like you needed to make a change, either personnel in the marketing side or on the ad agency side? I like to think we're the first neck to strangle, which is keeps us on our
I
toes.
think that's true. Like, there's whenever whenever something's going the wrong way, like operations points at marketing, marketing points at operations, and two things can be true at the same time. And
Right.
so what the truth is, everybody, including finance, finance is always the referee going, yeah, everybody's wrong, and we have the numbers to show it, and so they're always in a kind of a little bit of a fake position of superiority,
Right.
but yeah, that's what tends to happen, and what really needs to happen is exercise the collective intelligence of the group. You can't learn, logically, you can't learn if you're not willing to be wrong, right? If you already knew it, we'd be doing it.
Right.
And so, yeah, those times did happen. And some of it is just like maybe the ideas have played out.
Yeah.
There's also, it's human, like complacency kicks in when you've got an account for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
You kind of keep doing the same things. A path dependence
I think it's
develops.
a really good challenge for
Totally.
ad agencies to not rest on their laurels. I mean, I know you probably watched the growth of competitors or people just in the space. Like, but what did you think? Did you talk about the Chick-fil-A cows and the longevity that campaign had?
Well, we talked a lot about Chick-fil-A. I mean, we always saw them as, and then we should, because I think we should like honor and respect. Of course, it's probably one of the best run brands in the world.
Yeah. And kind of in your backyard.
Yes. And really what they began to sell, like, the chicken sandwich is something that's replicatable. Everybody's got one. There might be a better chicken sandwich. Sorry, but maybe there is, I'm sure. But in terms of doing that simply good thing with great consistency, but then what they
Singular
really
focus.
started selling in their currency was their culture, right?
Yeah.
It's about knowing that you go to a place, you're going to be treated with like dignity and kindness. Like you look at the ads that they were doing, but also had the white background. It was just two people talking.
Yeah.
They were so. I wish they would do those again because our culture, greater culture needs that.
Yeah.
Because it was just like they were selling
So
kindness,
true. Yeah.
loving your neighbor, kind of. That was just awesome. And people were like, I want to gravitate towards that. I want that.
Man, that's such a great point that brands are stewarding so much more than advertising dollars. They are stewarding our culture. I mean, the work that you're putting
Yeah.
out, the way that you're storytelling, I say like stories create our future world. And so we get to tell stories and we get to choose what stories to tell. And so it's an honor for a brand to say, "Hey, we want to have a positive influence in the world."
Yeah. It's really, you think about the way abstract ideas and the most important ideas that drive our thinking and worldview are driven by stories.
Yeah.
You can get the most complex ideas that a farmer who doesn't read in rural third world would understand a highly complex philosophical if it's put into a
Absolutely.
story that he understands, and it's the
It's a
most
way to
powerful way.
communicate.
Yeah,
Most powerful way to communicate.
absolutely.
What do you can you think of a story even just maybe it was on the advertising front and you actually told it, but even internally, what were some of the stories that really had impact?
Well, really, I think we were striving to, it's much harder to build that kind of cohesive culture in a franchise environment because each franchisee truly is the independent CEO of their organization.
Yeah.
So you can't do that through compliance. They have to be compelled, right?
Oh, what a
So
great word.
yeah, we actually brought in two brilliant people. One of them is a writer, Ben Ortlip, and his compadre Jeff Gray, who was like an IBM guy, technologist, but they helped build out that cultural infrastructure, if you will, for Chick-fil-A. And so
Okay.
we brought them in. I was a strong advocate for bringing them in. They would put together our conferences.
Oh,
So
cool.
they would actually bring up people that would embody what the Zaxby's culture was about. And at the time, I don't know if it's still the mission statement. It was, you know, enriching people's lives. And that transcended from Zaxby's franchising, the corporate entity, on down through that. At least that was our mission. Did we enrich people's lives every day? No. Sometimes we were maybe a jerk on the phone, but our mission and our ideal was like we should be. You could always call somebody out like, is this going to enrich their lives?
Right. Well, to me, it's like a coach having high expectations of their players.
Totally.
You are calling people to a standard that is above, and there's no real other way to stand out than to create that culture.
Yeah, and we use the analogy of like the oyster. Like
Yeah.
if this sand comes in and either it repels it out or it's the culture is so strong that it shapes it into a pearl.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. You can carry that in so
Yeah,
many environments.
yeah.
Well, in businesses like this, to me too, it's all about having a great team that is on mission together, that has missional alignment. That's where great stories are birthed and are able to be told, and that can transfer from any business in any industry. It starts with a team. Can you tell me maybe the best team you ever found yourself a part of?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's probably the working with David Waters
Yeah.
and the team that we had where we had hit a wall with growth in the Midwest, and we really had to put like a royalty relief program in because there were franchisees that were truly struggling. We had about 100 stores that were they were making it but not surviving in the way that they were on the East Coast. So we didn't want those franchisees to give up. It takes time to build a brand.
That's true.
And so we had to resolve all that. We had to honestly self-reflect and determine, okay, what are the things that the nexus of what matters and what we can control, then honestly self-assess and remediate those issues. So one, we said, okay, we're going to take responsibility and this is Zach and Tony, like kind of the courage that it took, just like, we're going to provide royalty relief for all of you. We're going to give up millions of dollars to ensure your success.
Wow.
So they did that for a few years for all the stores. They didn't have to do it. And that,
Bold choice.
yeah, drove the success. And we had to convince them of that. We had to put together like a business plan of like what it's truly going to cost. And they were like, they were all in. And then we had to remediate, okay, what are we doing in regards to training? Well, we found out we just started gathering intelligence from the other brands that were like Chick-fil-A, like their level of training and investment. Some of our other competitors were finding out, okay, they're training and they have teams of like a dozen people that are in the stores for their openings
Oh, yeah.
for like 12 weeks. And we're there for 2 weeks. Okay, well, of course, the outcomes are going to be vastly different. We were spending X dollars on training and the inventory to cook the food. We didn't want to waste all of our money on food that was going to be thrown out because we're training people how to cook it. And so we cheaped down all those things. We were there was a lot of hubris because we open up in Alabama and we just start killing it.
Yeah.
That's, of course, that's going to happen when you go to Tulsa, but no,
That's, I think, the power of awareness too. And
a
so you've
brand.
got to build that
Yes.
awareness in a brand new market.
Yep.
How do you tell that story from day one?
And every customer is a new customer. It's a totally new Zaxby's experience.
I
So,
love that.
and if you have untrained people, chaos in the store, and there are at first you'd have all these people show up, there would be a massive influx, and then there'd be a huge drop off in sales.
So from that learning, did you assemble like a grand opening team that went to every store? Every
Exactly.
market?
We also, one of the other things we learned was like our young kind of grand opening, our opening teams, they were your kind of, that was your entry level position into operations a lot of times.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were not empowered to, they saw, they were the, like Tony would always say, listen to your frontline employees. Well, we weren't listening to them because they would have stopped most, probably 50 to 60% of the openings because they knew like they were not prepared, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And
That's so
so
good.
for one of the first things we did is we empowered these, 20 somethings to go, you're the sheriff.
Right.
If it's not, if you have, they need to be objectively clear reasons, but if you get to say we're delaying the opening.
Right.
Because what matters most is not getting the store opening and we opened X number of stores a year. What mattered most was were those customers going to get an amazing experience that
Wow.
makes them come back.
Yeah, that's amazing. I will never forget opening Nike Georgetown. So I traveled with the Nike World Headquarters retail team and did all of the PR and media relations for every store opening from 2008 to 2016. And I was probably 26 at the time, maybe 27. And I'm sitting with Jeff Nichols, who's the GM of all Nike stores North America. And he looked at me and he said, "You're my boss." He said, "At this opening, you tell me where you want me, what you want me to say, and who you want me to talk to." And I was
very
like,
wise.
I Captain, like, I love it. Thank you for that permission.
I wish I would have had that information in 2006. I would have met him.
Yeah.
I would have known, but yeah, we didn't.
That's
But that
amazing.
was, that little lever right there was incredibly powerful to determine the trajectory of the brand.
And to give permission to young people to lead
Totally.
too. Because
Yeah.
I think that's incredible. I mean, people are working for a big brand, but they don't know that they have the permission to actually make a difference
Yeah.
or make decisions.
They literally didn't. They were just being compliant and trying to be dutiful and do a good job.
Right, and represent well.
Yeah.
But we need them. We need them to make decisions and to use their instincts and to make sure that the brand is represented the absolute best it can be in a market.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That's the power of collective intelligence. If you're only, looking at the problem from one angle at the top from your executive office, you're
Right.
you're not getting the true
That's
picture.
so powerful. I love that. I love that story in general. Okay, well, tell me, I know personally, I know because we represent you, but tell me about this new venture that you are a part of right now.
Yeah. It's incredibly exciting because I think it's the future of food where I don't, maybe it's not, but it's where it needs to go. I'm gonna try to force it to happen. Just like, and
We
it's
want
already
as many
kind
people to know about
yeah.
it as possible.
Yeah, and with Maepole, it is already. I mean, there's already kind of this burgeoning segment with kava and sweet greens and chopped, and people dig in New York City. It's doing it amazingly well. But we have a Southern take on it, so it's Southern comfort food cooked the way that actually produces incredible health and life outcomes for people.
Yeah.
And I feel, and this is, I know, grandiose, but I feel like QSR in food, where we are in general, I know there's a whole, like, it's become a political thing, but it started out with the hippies and nobody believed that the hippies were right about healthy
The
food.
groundswell.
But now it's kind of like they're catching on. But I think it's kind of like where tobacco was. Like we knew that tobacco, there was, medical research in the 30s that knew tobacco was causing cancer and it's bad, blah, blah, blah. And it took 30 years before a Surgeon General said, yep, that's right. I think that's the same way we are with like super high processed foods.
Right.
What I call the dark triad of salt, fat, and sugar that makes us crave McDonald's. And I'm not judgmental about it. I still eat Zaxby's. I eat Chick-fil-A routinely, but it's like our what we should be eating and what makes us actually feel better. Because the thing that's hard to market, because instant satiability, instant craveability, that's easy for a marketer,
Right,
right?
right.
Your task is a lot harder because like our payoff is like you feel a lot better after you've like 2 hours later, you're not needing a nap in the
Yeah.
afternoon. So I think that's really good in terms of what we need to kind of target and push.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I think that Maypole is the best food that you can have in a quick service environment.
I agree.
It's
That's true.
hands down the best. It makes you feel good after
Yep.
you eat it. You're not feeling heavy. And people are, it's a day and age where nobody knew how many grams of protein we needed until
Yeah.
everyone on Instagram started telling us. And so it's good. It's hitting at a great time where right now you have 3 stores, right?
Three, and we're opening our standalone prototype in Cumming,
Right.
Forsyth
Will
County.
you franchise this concept?
We want to,
Okay.
but like our first responsibility is stewardship, and we want to like have a high performing prototype that we feel confident. Like I would turn my friends onto this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm excited to be a part of that first store opening and
Yep, you
and
will be.
introduce so many people to how to eat. You know, I was telling a coach at D1 here in Athens, I was like, I probably win 2 out of 3 meals. And like lunch is just where I miss because I'm moving fast, I'm not eating, and I just crave maybe something like
Yeah,
fried food or something unhealthy. But I win dinner and I win breakfast. And he said, why don't you win 3 out of 4 meals? And so I think people are trying to think about, they're like gamifying how they're eating because we're going to eat fried foods or we're going to eat something
totally.
that's quick or maybe not as nourishing, but Maple makes that easy. It's quality protein, it's quality vegetables, everything's cooked in like good oils. Talk about some of the ways the food is prepared at Maple.
Yeah, and that's the whole vision. And you got to credit Peter Dale and
Right.
Nathan Goodman and Clancy. We call is Michael Clancy. We call him
Yeah.
Clancy. These
What a great
guys,
team. Speaking
yeah.
of
Oh my
teams.
gosh, they're the creatives that like I get to work with these creatives now, and so that's an incredible blessing. And I just like pinch myself every day that like one of my partners is Peter Dale, right?
Absolutely.
And he's brilliant. I think he's part of what makes
He has
Athens
founded
culture.
so many restaurants that make Athens culinary scene what it is.
Totally, yeah,
5 and 10, Condor Chocolates, The National,
all of that.
Sea Bear.
And so it's just cool to be a part of that. But yeah, they had this vision of like it's very simple. What would I want to eat every day?
Right.
But the whole kind of food supply chain infrastructure is is built around frozen, processed, shelf life stability, not around seasonal vegetables.
No.
So, but they've kind of found a way to make it work operationally. A lot of the food is all brought in fresh. There's no freezers in the store.
No freezer to fryer.
Right.
I
No
love that.
frying. And so they it's all pre-prepped. They have plenty of time in the morning. It's not intensive. All the intensive labor is just every morning and getting the food prepared for the day.
Yeah.
They have
And there's variety.
totally. So, and we lean into like the QSR LTO
Yeah.
calendar by just bringing in seasonal vegetables too.
Right.
Things that so that fits in with the supply chain. We have optionality in terms of like if something's going crazy with a particular commodity, or like there's been a blight of tomatoes out in the Empire Valley in California, we could switch to something else. So it gives us operational and menu architecture flexibility. But what we have to do is make it make facilitate the ability to eat very well,
Do you eat Maypole every day?
just about.
I was
But
just
like,
thinking.
there's times when like I crave Chick-fil-A and I'll just
Yeah.
go, or I like I
Sometimes
want
you want a
to,
number one.
yeah,
in
I
a
want a
CVP.
Zaxby's combo.
Or Zaxby's
Yeah,
combo.
yeah. And so I'll do that. But I think all things in moderation. I was like, we don't want to be the Taliban about judging and pushing, like be so regimented
Right.
around
It's just
that.
it's a good option. You're giving people an opportunity to win
Yeah.
that meal, whether it's lunch or dinner, whether it's catering your tailgate or your event. I've been to several Maypole catered events and it's amazing. It's just amazing food that makes people feel good.
Yeah, I just think we need to make it easy, because that's why Americans are eating the way they're eating today, because it's the supply chain is built around it to make it cheap, craveable, and very convenient and easy. So
Blake, your life has to be so different from going from Zaxby's and 910 locations to three, opening your fourth location, the first prototype of Maypole to set yourself up for franchising. How is your life different professionally?
it's very humbling. And like
What an opportunity.
I had like the most amazing executive assistant that Connie DeLay. She passed away this year, but she was like a sister to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like having people like that would just take care of organize your life, organize your schedule. I've never missed a meeting, not because I was organized and put together. I was kind of a likable doofus that played in a band. I was still kind of, a little bit scattered. I never,
With a CPA degree.
yeah, yeah.
Accounting
But
degree.
like she and my team would always have my back. If anything, if I needed a report, I would just go. I got to the point where I wasn't running the reports anymore. They were all doing it. And I was, if I was good at anything, I was good at kind of identifying talented people
Yeah.
and talented people who would
Huge.
come and live in Athens, So like there was a nexus there.
Amen.
Yeah.
I love it.
And they would just take care of me. They made me successful.
Great.
That's not just like false humility. That literally happened.
So you feel like you're starting over?
And now I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
I have,
Come be Blake's assistant, someone.
I can't afford it.
You can volunteer for the first year.
Yeah. I literally had people that would like file things for me and clean my office when it got crazy. Like they would take care of me. And now, last week I was literally dismantling our handicap ramp so we can get it rebuilt, and we're pouring concrete and replacing it. It's literally covered with black mold and I'm dirty. It's like I'm just worked the day and then I'm all covered sweat, and it's like I'm thinking, yeah, I've really come down a couple notches in terms of what I used to do.
But everybody wants to be on the ground floor. So you are
True.
literally on the ground floor. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
I really love that. I love the kind of the guerrilla nature of it. I love that I'm working with Clancy and Nathan and Peter and my life my friend at work, David Waters. We were kind of peas in a pod. We worked together. He became the COO and helped get us to the
Zaxby.
point where we could get the company in shape where we could sell it to Goldman. And it was an incredibly successful transaction.
Well, last question. Tell me, actually not the last question. What are your grounding principles as a leader? And then the last question I'll have is, what's your favorite story or the first story you can ever remember being told?
Like as a kid?
Yeah.
Okay. My grounding principles are kind of would just be like the golden rule, like
Love it.
and treat people and care about people and treat them as you would want to be treated. Just rooted in my worldview, and that's an idea. Do I do that all the time? Of course, I screw up.
I think you do.
I try. I do try. And as I get older, as we should, get better at it. And then two is like what I've, honest self-assessment without kind of becoming deprecating. I think there's a point where like with certain people, like if you're constantly, there's a point where honest self-assessment becomes like almost too internalized, almost narcissistic in the sense of, I'm not doing good. Instead of focusing on like fixing the problem.
I think self-awareness, right? It's the first first ring or first layer of emotional intelligence.
Totally. Yeah.
So once you know yourself, then you can lead yourself. So it's that second part.
Yep. There's that. And then in terms of like how I believe an organization should be run, like I know like flat organizations and overly democratic organizations can be chaotic, but I do think that when it's managed the right way, I think that has to be managed artfully. But
I love that.
because it leads to what I think is the most powerful kind of force, which is, leveraging collective intelligence, right? Being a learning organization, all of that, everything that comes with that is knowing that whatever we're doing, we could be doing better, and using the collective intelligence of the organization. So that means, that's easy to say, but that means actually being willing to be wrong. That means having to listen to somebody that I've got 30 years experience, but I need to shut up and then listen to why my idea might be wrong from somebody that is 20 years younger than me.
Think about it, right?
Yes.
I love that. Okay, but first story you remember
First story I remember.
being told.
Gosh. Wait, I'm just coming back. It's that book. My mom would read it to me about that bird.
What's the time code?
It's that bird that he would talk to this excavator.
Oh, fun. It was like good night construction site comes to mind, but that's more my kids.
It's from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, sweet.
Are You My Mother?
Are You My Mother?
Okay.
Oh, is that a Dr. Seuss book?
It was always sold with Dr. Seuss books. Like it would
Yes.
come in the packet, and I had that book.
Are You My Mother? I love that. That's fun. Well, that's fun. Thank you for joining us, Blake, and sharing all of that wisdom. I can imagine if you're listening, if someone's listening and they're in college, like they probably feel empowered to contribute to a team, like even at a large brand like Zaxby's, or if someone is sitting here and they are on the second or third phase of their career, and maybe starting over is an opportunity, because you never know what's ahead of you. And I think the best is yet to come, always.
Hope so, because I'm definitely starting over.
Well, we're excited to be on the journey with you. Thank you, Blake.
Thank you so much. Enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay.
That was fun.